Hi there, Stephen from NBS here. This Friday afternoon and doing a bit of experimenting with specification and artificial intelligence. And everything I'm going to do on the screen here is things that if you're a subscriber to NBS, you can try now using tools like ChatGPT. So where we're going to start is a real simple specification I've created here. And if we just look on the screen, we've got a masonry wall leaf system with 4 products: bricks, insulation blocks, plasterboard. Now if we have a little scan down the spec, what I've done for every single one of these products is just put a value in for thermal conductivity. So you can see that down there. And then at the top of the spec, just in the description, I've described like the makeup of the wall in terms of the thicknesses. But this isn't like modeled tightly in the data model. It's just a narrative at the top saying what about 100 mils of brick, insulation, 13 mil of plaster on the inside. And then so that AI can see this, what I've done is got a little PDF there, and the PDF is sort of no different than a sort of traditional what you'd normally see from sort of NBS specs. So if you have a little scan through, it's just the content in PDF form. So what I'm going to do is just jump across to ChatGPT now. And what I found with ChatGPT is if you wanted to do something a little bit complicated, is you sort of ask it in small questions and you sort of lead it down the path a little bit. So I could here say like analyze this specification and tell me about the products and their properties in table form. And that's just going to get ChatGPT going and understanding what it's got. If you ask something too complicated, it might just say, check this website out and do it yourself. But you'll see that it's looked in the specification and brought back pretty well structured information. Recognized the numeric value for the thermal conductivity, got the units correct, and it's got all the different products there as well. So now what I'm going to ask is just, does it know how to calculate U values for a wall? Do you know how to calculate U values following UK practice? Which standard defines the method? So again, just leading it down the route I want to take, the sort of AI assistance. And it came back and said, yes, calculating U values in the UK follows the correct standard. And it's talked about the values it needs. Surface resistance defined in the standard, and a little bit about the formula. So now I get the sort of payoff here by saying calculate the U value from this spec and show every step of your working out. Please state assumptions at the end if you have made any. So just a couple of things here. To do the U value calculation, you need those dimensions. And that was the thing that was at the narrative at the top of the spec. You're never going to trust AI to do things perfectly, so I'm asking to show every step of the working out. And then if they have made any assumptions and guesswork at the end, I want to see that as a sort of list of bullets. So it's like getting a sort of junior assistant who's pretty skilled to do the job, but in a form that you can sort of check yourself. So here comes the calculation and the working out. The auto scroll is not working, but it looks like it's working out the R value for each of the materials. It's got the assumptions on the surface resistance, and then based on the thicknesses, which were sort of at the top there, so 102, 113, which is pretty clever in its own right. It came and worked out the U value for me there, which I think is pretty amazing, pretty mind-blowing. It said we've used standard values for the surface resistance and assumed there's no thermal bridges, etc., etc. So yeah, really, really quite mind-blowing. Then the next thing I want to know is, what about if I use properties from particular manufacturers. So what I've done here is I've just gone to NBS Source and pretty randomly picked a brick product, insulation block and plasterboard. And for each of these, they have their own property sets further down the page for things like sort of thermal conductivity as well. So rather than type this out, I'm just going to copy and paste this in. But yeah, can you update the calculation if I give you values from manufacturer products? It'll say yes, but again, I'm just leading it down the path. Yes, of course I'm clever enough to do that. Can you read properties from, and what I've got here is just, that's just the little URL from NBS Source. So that's the clear bricks, which is this one. Just click that little hyperlink and you get the short URL. So I'm expecting a yes, no answer, but it will give me a full table of properties probably. That's not a table, that's why it's nice to ask in a table. Otherwise it just gives you that big sort of splurge of a paragraph. But yeah, pretty nice there. It's saying you where it got the information from. It was definitely the URL that I provided. So let's go to one I prepared earlier with this hyperlink. Tell me about the following products in table form. So there's the clear bricks that it's already looked at, but it's got insulation, the blocks, and the plasterboard as shown at the top here. Just put them all in a nice table so you can just like scan across. And then finally, for the big payoff, I'm going to say, can you update the generic spec with the products that I'm considering specifying and tell me the U value. So what is the U value for the wall if I updated the PDF spec with these product choices? And it's going to go away and do that calculation again. So up until discovering things like ChatGPT, I always thought things like this had to be coded by humans really carefully, take months and months and months, but you're almost getting the code to get written at runtime based on semi-structured data. And I find this sort of, there's the U value in the end, sort of quite incredible. Does this meet the original spec? Please provide both U values and tell me which is better performance. So I'm keen, what do people think of this? And also for NBS users out there, why not export some of your specifications to PDF, mix them with the source content, and have a play with ChatGPT and see what great things you can get it to do. And maybe we could integrate some of this into the platform itself, so it's working inside of NBS World. But there's the original spec value, U value 278, and the updated one 277, which is slightly improved performance, and wow, it looks pretty incredible. And that all comes from the original specification, which is semi-well structured. Like, we haven't modeled the units, we haven't modeled the widths, and the well-structured content that we have here. Like, it's even clever enough to get the data from the variants as well, from the manufacturer content. So yeah, please drop some feedback through, and if you've sat and watched this for 10 minutes, thank you very much.